Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Alyssa. Today we are making dessert recipes. We are making healthy desserts, we are making vegan desserts, and we are making winter/holiday desserts. These are all really easy to make, so delicious, and perfect for this time of year. So all three of these recipes are already up on the blog for you. So if you do want to make them, you can find links right down below this video. And what we're making is a vegan espresso brownie recipe. We're making some almond butter blondie recipes with chocolate chips. And we're also gonna make some peppermint macaroons, which are vegan and so good. They're like a healthy macaroon version / great for Christmas and just so good. You guys gotta try them. If you are not yet a member of this community, I would love to have you subscribe before we dive in. So there's a red button right below this video. It says subscribe. All you gotta do is tap that button and that will subscribe you to the channel. And that will mean you never miss another video. And without further ado, let's get into today's recipes. All right, so we are gonna start with the espresso brownies first. We're gonna add our nut butter into our bowl. You could use almond, cashew, tahini, up to you. And then we're also gonna add in some pumpkin puree as well as flax eggs, coconut sugar, and then you'll just use your mixer. You could either use like a spoon, or I think this works better with an electric mixer, to beat this all together until it is combined. From there, we're gonna add in our quinoa flour, as well as our cacao powder, espresso powder, which is gonna give it that coffee flavor, some baking soda, and a pinch of sea salt. And again, come in with your beater or wooden spoon / spatula to mix this together. You can see that this dough is pretty thick, which is why I think that it works best with an electric mixer. But again, if you don't have one, you don't have to use that. Once you have your dough all combined and it's kind of thick like this, you can add in your chocolate chips. This step is optional, but I really like the extra chocolate. I mean, who doesn't like chocolate chips in their brownies? So just fold that all together until it's combined into the dough. And then we will transfer that into our parchment lined baking pan. I like to use an 8x8 pan just because I like kind of higher or taller, fluffier brownies. But if you like thinner brownies, you could use a 9x9 pan. And you'll see here how thick it is. So you're gonna wanna just use your hands to kind of spread it out into the pan. Make sure that you press it into the corners. If it starts to get kind of sticky, you can either switch to a spatula or you can just lightly wet your hands, and that will make it so that the dough doesn't stick to it. Once you have your brownies all into the corners and everything is smooth and even across the pan, you are just gonna finish everything off, again, optional, but I really like how this tastes and I like the texture it adds, but we are going to sprinkle on some chopped up coffee beans as well as some chopped up walnuts. And then just use your hands to kind of press those toppings into the dough so that as it rises in the oven, those stick to the top so that they don't fall off when you cut them. And we will just finish everything off by popping this in the oven at 350 degrees and baking it up for about 22 to 25 minutes. They'll come out looking nice and kind of puffy, I guess you could say, or risen. And you're gonna just let them cool completely in the pan until you are ready to slice them. So once they are cool, you can just slice them up into your brownies. And as always with my brownies, I like to show you guys the inside. So you can see these are nice and kind of fudgy. They're still soft and tender. You could definitely underbake them a little bit if you wanted to get them extra gooey, and the melted chocolate from the chocolate chips on the inside is just delish. Recipe number 2 is our peppermint chocolate macaroons. We're going to start by adding shredded coconut into our bowl. You'll also add in some almond flour as well as some cooked quinoa, cacao powder, and a pinch of sea salt, and just stir that all together until it's combined. If it's kind of lumpy, you can use your hands to like press the lumps apart, I guess. Sometimes almond flour is a little lumpy. Once you get it evenly combined, you are going to add in a flax egg, as well as some coconut oil, maple syrup, almond butter, or you could use cashew butter or tahini or whatever nut butter you want, and some peppermint extract. You could also add some vanilla extract if you wanted a little extra flavor. And we are just going to use a spatula to stir this all together until a cookie dough forms. And once it's all combined, it will look kind of like this. And this recipe, you could do no bake, so you could just pop it right in the freezer and they would hold up in the freezer. Or if you want, you can bake them, which is what we're gonna do. And I like to use a cookie scoop for this recipe because it kind of makes them as uniform as possible. So I just scoop out some of the dough and then I put it onto a parchment lined baking sheet. And then the last step is that you are going to want to use your hands to kind of push the dough together to kind of form an even dome, which is like the traditional look of a macaroon, but also it helps everything kind of hold together and not crumble when it's baking. From there, we'll just pop that into the oven until they're golden brown and baked through, and let them cool completely. And the last step is to dip them in chocolate and drizzle them in chocolate. So I just like to use tart chocolate chips. I just melt them in the microwave, and then I just take one of the macaroons and I dip the bottom and I place it directly onto the parchment paper. And then I just replete with the rest of the macaroons. And then to finish everything off, I love to give them like a little drizzle. And this just, of course, adds like a little extra flair. Obviously added sugar and sweetness, optional, but I think it really adds to the recipe and makes them taste really, really good. And that's pretty much it. The chocolate should just solidify as they're sitting there. And you could, if you wanted, again, keep these in the fridge or the freezer. They also work as a no-bake treat, like I said, and they are super delicious and perfect for the holidays because of that peppermint. Oh, but actually one last thing. If you don't like peppermint, you can totally just leave that out too. All right, and our final vegan dessert recipe today is our almond butter blondies. We are going to start by adding some coconut oil as well as some almond butter into a bowl. And then we're also going to add in our coconut sugar. Again, like the first recipe, we're going to use an electric mixer here. The goal is that we are creaming everything together, so we're not using melted coconut oil here, we're using softened coconut oil. And this adds like a little bit of air to the batter and helps make things nice and fluffy and gooey. So basically just beat it all together until it is creamed together. And then we will add in the rest of our ingredients. So we're going to be adding in some flax eggs, as well as some vanilla and some quinoa flour and some baking powder. And you could also add in some sea salt if you wanted, or maybe some cinnamon. That would be delicious. And then again, just use your electric beater to beat it all together until you have kind of like a dough forming. You're going to see that this isn't coming together quite as well, but that's okay because we're going to, again, just like press it into our pan later. But once you have the dough that looks kind of like this, add in your chocolate chips and again, fold it all together until it's combined. And you can see here, again, we're having kind of like a thick-ish dough, which is what we're looking for. And just like the brownies, we're going to transfer this into our parchment-lined baking pan. Again, I'm using an 8x8 pan here. And just like the brownies, we're going to press these into the corner using our hands. And again, these are going to go in the oven at 350 degrees until they are baked through, basically. And these are definitely on the gooier side, so I would recommend going for at least the minimum amount of time that I have indicated in the recipe. And if they're still a little bit too soft or gooey, you can continue baking them if you want. And just like the brownies, again, I'm realizing how kind of similar these recipes are. We're going to let them cool in the pan until we're ready to slice them up. You'll see that because of the oil in this recipe, they have a crispier top. So they are kind of more like that traditional blondie where you have like that crispy top and the gooey inside. The brownies are less like that. They kind of have like a softer top. But these are equally as delicious. They are so good. They don't taste too much like almond butter, but if you aren't an almond butter fan, you could also use peanut butter or you could use cashew butter, which would be delicious. But yes, this is a really easy recipe. They are an oldie that I revamped on the blog, and I am so excited to finally have a video for you guys because they're so good. They're a classic recipe, and I know that you are going to make them over and over and over again. And there you have it, my friends. I hope you enjoyed our winter/holiday inspired dessert recipes. All three of these are fabulous. They are so easy to make, and I think they're perfect for this time of year. So if you want to make any of them, the links are down in the description box. They're already on the blog for you with pictures, ingredient list, instructions, everything you need to make them. If you do make one of them, please come back to this video and let us know which one. If you made any modifications, maybe you added something, maybe you changed something up. I love hearing how you guys tweak recipes to make them fit into your lifestyle. It makes me so happy that you can find ways to create new things that work for you. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe right down below by hitting that red subscribe button if you are not yet part of our community. And that's all I have for you. So thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you being here. Happy baking, happy winter, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.